Well, fun might be the last thing you think of when you think of the bitterly cold temperatures we're seeing this morning. But just because it's cold doesn't mean there's no fun to be had. Our ABC6 meteorologist, Aiden Sarah, conducted a few experiments to show off the cool effects that cold weather can have.
Well, I am freezing out here, but I signed up for this assignment because I thought it was so cool, because it turns out that there are some fun things you can do to add some positivity to the negative temperatures. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to find it interesting to see a guy standing outside in the cold weather with a balloon, but what's even more interesting is, even just in the short time I've been out here, this balloon has appeared to deflate. Now, the reasoning behind that is no air is actually leaving the balloon because it's tied pretty tight. It's the air in the balloon is becoming colder because of the air outside, and as air cools, the molecules in the air itself begin to shrink and they take up less space, giving off the appearance that there's less air in the balloon. The reason behind this phenomena is because as air in the balloon cools, the molecules slow, clump together, and take up less space, giving off the appearance the balloon is deflating. Pretty cool, right? Well, the next experiment I tried is getting a shirt wet and leaving it out in the cold. With the shirt being exposed to the cold air, I poured warm water on it, by the way, just to see the dramatic effect of this. You can see the water evaporating, turning to steam when it meets the cold air. As time goes on, though, the shirt's going to cool down enough, and it's not going to exactly be something you're going to want to put on. Well, let's check in on our shirt. Our shirt, which now more resembles that of a sled as opposed to a shirt, and feels more like a sled than a shirt. This thing is solid as, well, ice, considering that there is a lot of ice now in it. It did not take long, mind you, for this to happen, and it took less than 5 minutes for it to become this frozen. Okay, moving on now. Another experiment involved a frozen water bottle, salt, and food dye. Open the bottle, pour a little salt in, some food coloring dye, then sit back and watch as tiny tunnels of color make their way into the ice chunk as the salt melts the ice. My personal favorite experiment, though, bubbles. Well, unfortunately, the wind is a little too gusty in order to really have much success catching bubbles, so I got a bit creative and thought, well, why not? The result, a frozen clump of bubbles. There are other experiments to try, such as freezing a banana and using it to pound a nail into wood, of all things. But kids, if you try this, make sure mom and dad are around, and hopefully you have more success than I did. Well, the main question on my mind now is, what am I going to do with a frozen banana? I guess I could make a banana shake or some banana bread from it later. We'll find out. But I tell you, I had a lot of fun with these experiments, and you watching at home can do them too. Just remember that with cold temperatures like what we're going to see over the next day or two, frostbite can set in only a few minutes, so bundle up. From Rochester, Aiden Sarah, ABC.